a pipe down to the lower levels. They fill it with chemicals, over 1,000 toxic, deadly, carcinogenic, deadly chemicals. They pump it down there, and then they frack, which is fracture. So they make it break in the substrata. And what happens is they break the substrata underneath, so it's all the rock and the gas. But what happens is you've got water, which is your artesian basin. So you've got the ground, you've got the water below it, and below that you've got gas and oil, and they're breaking through into the gas. They're breaking the substrata. It breaks out. It pollutes the water, and gas rises to the top when they can mine it.
So this is natural gas mining.
Natural gas mining.
They
can use it for...
But
that's lovely.
Essentially, you've got farmers in America and in Queensland who can set fire to their tap water now.
Oh my God!
Now, you don't have to go far from this, and we actually did a Alan Jones. As much as people hate Alan Jones, and
take your paper away from the speaker, so just because it'll amplify like crazy.
Yep, no worries.
Sorry.
So one of our meetups was on Alan Jones, and he did a speech before the press club, and he was talking about fracking. And we also showed a movie from America, which is called Gasland, which is about fracking.
Yeah.
And when it's shocking and disgusting and makes you want to throw up.
Yeah.
You just sit there and wonder, has the world gone crazy that we're allowing this to happen?
Yeah.
What the hell are our governments thinking? They're obviously not. They're obviously out to destroy us.
Goes on all around the world.
Well, yeah, in the Western world.
Western world,
because they're breaking us, and it's part of a longer term sort of scenario, and we can talk about potentially the West geostrategic objectives against the East, and the clash of civilizations, and some of these things are going to come to pass in the future, or plan to come to pass.
We have strategies in place against the East, like as in there's a West-East conflict, like.
Of course there is.
But like an actual...
it's a Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. So you get the East versus the West, make them fight together. Yep. There's a synthesis, which is the one world government.
Oceania, East Asia and Eurasia.
Well, we're going to go through that process as well, straight out of 1984. And what did Kevin Rudd, he knows how to speak Chinese, and I'm very, very confident that the plan is for Australia to fall into East Asia as part of China. And obviously we're going to be annexed by China in the World War III. This is not, you don't have to be a geostrategic or a military strategist to work this out.
And that dollar, what was the dollar, the new American dollar from South?
They like our country, I think. They really want some of it.
I think
we're full of resources, and a country like
we're a big country with not a lot of people.
And let's be clear, it's not the people, it's not the Chinese people sitting there frothing at the chops and saying, I can't wait to get a slice of Tasmania. That's not what's going on. We're talking about global elites and political elites who are just have control of these countries, who are executing a plan to achieve an objective which was written down a long time ago, and it's very well publicised, very well public. But the average Joe is a little bit reluctant to face these facts.
Yeah.
We're not going to
no. This is essential stuff.
I know. I love it.
People should know.
But actually, I want to go back. I want you to finish the stages of waking up. Was there heaps of them you had to go? Because I want to hear the rest of them.
After that, it's just a tumbleweed of
you said that
watching and learning and reading.
This is it's a fundamental process that people have got to go through.
It is. Yeah.
And I was very lucky and very privileged and blessed, and you can describe it in whatever word you want, where I was literally given no choice. I was put in a position where my mind was shaped in a particular way to say, this is the direction you need to surge. And so afterwards, it's like I went home that night and I stayed up late that night. Yeah. And I stayed up late every night for the next few weeks. Reading and reading and reading about things that I had no idea about. That were just phenomenal and fantastic and bizarre and outrageous and all of those things. Yeah, completely.
Absolutely.
Chuck that one in there.
Well, when you get down to it, I mean, and this is where facing your fears and facing the horror is a challenge that we all must face. Because if you're to get to the end of the road, you're going to have to go through pedophilia, Satanism, satanic ritual abuse of children. You're going to need to go through that if you really, really want to understand.
Well, I haven't gone that far yet.
Do you mean understand the human psyche and why we've come to the point where we are? We have to look at
Or
all
are you
the different
talking
types
about
of
just
things.
for
how can they be like they are?
Yeah.
And what are they doing? And here it is, and you just... And it is. It's about their cult. It's about their religion.
Yeah.
And it is a religion, and it's a belief system as much as everyone doesn't want to describe it, but it is. It's a religion and a belief system.
I don't understand. Like I said, with power elites, not just people who earn $1 million a year. I'm talking power elites, like the 1%, the 0.1 of 1% that own everything and do everything, which is actually happening and actually out there. You know, obviously they have some form of God complex, and they've had it since they were a child, and they've been born into it, and their structure.
It's a cult.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
And they were raped as children.
Really?
And you need to have empathy.
Yeah. Empathy is a big one. Yeah.
And you have to understand that these people are victims, as much as they're homicidal maniacs and they're killing millions.
Yes.
They are victims.
But that's where we have the whole attitude of, if you want, the only way to fix things is to accept and understand and love. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but like defend it and fix everything with love, and by understanding why that person is the way they are, because they've lived the life that they have, and it's our fault as a collective that we have provided an environment for them to grow up like that, to make them like that and do those things that the rest of us don't like. It's all of our fault.
Martin Luther King's quote, or it might have been even Einstein, the problem in the world isn't people doing evil. The problem in the world is people, the collective, not doing anything to stop the evil. That's the problem. I mean, we have power, we just got to become privy to it.
So it's a catch-22 because at the end of the day, most individuals, their entire life, they've had an enemy who is proactively, comprehensively, scientifically disempowering them.
Yes.
At every level, in every way, every day.
Yeah.
And most people don't actually perceive the threat because of the quality of the attack. So it makes it a situation where people are walking down the street and they're not aware, they don't want to be aware. I like
to break down when you say quality of the attack to people who might not be aware of the sort of thing we're talking about. The quality of the attack is things such as advertising, public relation companies, people who market products, and this is the generic setup of the economic system, the society that we live in, to maintain the status quo and make sure, essentially, even on a subconscious level, if they're doing that, the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor.
But what you're saying is that there are people are just unaware that there is a problem when you're that deeply inside a belief system and you're that confronted with it every day. You don't know that there is any.
They don't even know that they don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That you don't know that you don't know.
They cannot perceive the jail bar, the bars of their cell.
No.
This is a perfect prison.
But my problem with that is then, I think that would apply for every single person, including us. How do we know that we're not in something that we can't see? You know, we're involved in thinking about all these things and researching, and
you can't.
You'll never know.
We don't know anything about
apart from
anything.
what we've seen.
Yeah.
There's so many theories about life, the universe, God, afterlife, before life, consciousness, how you're engaged with the universe, what do they call it? Quantum mechanics, quantum physics. You can create. This is all theory.
Yeah.
It's just all theory from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, theory is pretty much wrong.
Yes.
Because you're not aware of the facts.
Mm.
So it's a theory based on what you can perceive on the bits you can hang on to.
Do you mean it's theory and it's false because as a general person who doesn't look into the facts of the theory, it's never going to be applicable to you and real for you because you don't get it? Or what do you mean?
I'm saying there's nothing firm to stand on in terms if you want to form beliefs.
You got to connect the dots, and that's why conservatives don't connect the dots. Okay, and free-thinking people who like to think of a better tomorrow, or there's a possibility of a better future, try to connect the dots, and unfortunately, they're the ones that are called conspiracy theorists.
So I'd like to answer your question in terms of how we under attack, and it's basically a concept called full spectrum dominance.
Right. I've heard that term before.
This is a warfare tactic, and it's pretty simple by the words,
Yeah.
Full spectrum dominance.
Yeah.
In terms of the spectrum, in the possibilities that you can be attacked.
Yes.
It's full, and it's dominating across the entire spectrum. We're talking extraordinary attack. So it's going to attack your mind, your body, and your spirit, and at different levels. So we can talk about, in a physical level, your nutrition.
Yep.
The food, the food doesn't have the vitamins and minerals in it.
Absolutely not.
Your water's got fluoride in it.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that.
The food that you buy is all processed.
Yes.
So all the nutrients are taken out of it, and the rubbish is added to it. Medications, our medical system, and we could go on to it, and that's an interesting concept in terms of East versus West in medical system.
Yes,
you know
definitely.
What? If you get, if you're in a car accident and you get chewed up, you know what? The West and medicine system is amazing.
Yeah.
They can patch you together when you're just chewed up.
Yeah.
But in terms of well-being and health and ongoing health and
psychological
preventative
stuff.
health, and it's all connected. Right?
So, definitely.
Your body will feed back to your mind will feed back to your body in terms of what goes on, and that's when the East has got a lot to offer. Alcohol and drugs and excitotoxins like MSG or aspartame.
MSG is up there.
It's an excitotoxin.
Is it?
It's a shocking toxin for your body.
Really?
Same with aspartame. Shocking toxin
What do
for
you
your
mean
body.
shocking toxin? What is it?
Shocking toxin. Well, there's toxins and then there's shocking toxins.
Okay.
So
what?
Arsenic will hurt you,
Yeah.
But if you grab some, your body actually needs some arsenic. Otherwise, you'll die because your body needs a full spectrum of vitamins and minerals to operate at a healthy level. If you take an excitotoxin, which is not what your body needs, and it's just an extraordinary toxin, it's going to do a lot of damage to you. And it's MSGs, it's your aspartame. Have a look at the manufacturing process of aspartame.
What's
aspartame?
Aspartame is an artificial sweetener, which you'll see in your Pepsi Max and and things like that. Yeah, so
I never even knew I knew that shit was bad.
So essentially,
Diet Coke,
aspartame is the excretion of a genetically modified organism that eats toxic waste. And yes, you should look it up. I was going to say, I didn't say this little disclaimer earlier. I didn't say the disclaimer earlier, but I can't recommend highly enough that anything that I say should be Googled, and you should be checking multiple websites far and wide and seeing what the for people are saying and the against people are saying.
Think for yourself.
And form your own opinion.
Definitely. And don't sit there and just keep drinking it.
Exactly. And you know what? If there's big question marks over it, at the end of the day, you can't say, oh, I'm for it, I'm against it. It's got big question marks over it. stop. You know, like
I can know. So
Sorry.
holy shit! So it's shocking. Aspartame toxin is the artificial sweetener, generic artificial.
That's right. That's right.
From a genetically modified
Holy
organism,
shit.
so it hasn't
That's
been around
right.
for
You
that
can look
long.
that.
then.
You can look that. Well, we can get to
Genetically
that.
modified foods, how long they've been around for?
Okay.
Crap.
What I'd like to talk about is chemicals in your shampoo and your toothpaste. So I'd encourage everyone who's listening to look at the ingredients of their soaps,